Okay, hey, this is the last breakout session on the last day of Domopalooza. They've obviously saved the best for last. But yeah, no, we've heard from some amazing speakers and companies. Filevine today, we heard from US Bank, Lifetime Fitness. I mean, these are some amazing companies that are making some incredibly huge strides with Domo and their data. And so we want to introduce you guys to the idea of turning your BI into ROI, how you can take a dashboard as an analyst and turn it into a business. And so let's start off with who's going to be our main speaker, someone I've been working with very closely. So James Gossling, he's been a Domo client for 12 years. That's like as long as the platform's been around. And so before founding Bespoke, he worked at multiple different companies managing 9-figure P&Ls. And you guys are familiar with some of the industries: industrial chemical, automotive aftermarket, and health and supplements. And so the question is, what is he doing now that he has all this Domo experience and knowledge in these industries? So Bespoke, his company, it's rapidly risen to become a trusted partner for some of Amazon's top sellers and vendors worldwide. So in 2024 alone, he worked with 4 out of the top 100 Amazon stores, and 2 of them were in the top 20 of stores. This is incredibly impressive. And so under James's leadership, the company has delivered a lot. They've done custom solutions, they've done forecasting models, sales enablement, and they've done a lot of data set enrichment. And so without further ado, let's give a warm round of applause for James Gossling, the star of the show.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so they made me wait this long. I'm been nervous enough. Let's just get this over with. I've been at every Domopalooza except for the pandemic ones and last year, so I'm a huge super fan. I worked at a bunch of businesses throughout my career. Started using Domo at Do My Own, which is a smaller business. They basically got the contract with Domo when Domo was early on. They handed it to me and they're like, hey, you're gonna figure this out and learn BI. And I'm like, all right, we're using RJ Metrics, if anyone even remembers that platform. Took that and went on to Real Truck, which is part of a massive umbrella of brands in the billions of dollars, and brought Domo to their organization. I went and got a job managing e-commerce with Nordic Naturals, supplements brand, and grew them 6x using Domo as I sold Domo internally as the automation engine. That's how I could get them to understand what it was. And so we automated and scaled at that organization. And then most recently at Sports Research, another supplement seller managing a top 100 Amazon store. And the first thing I pitched when they approached me for the job was, I can't do this without Domo and I can't do this without BI. So I have a really intimate understanding of just how important business intelligence is to businesses. And I just saw that even at the large enterprise levels, there's a lot of companies that just don't have their stuff together with BI. So I thought, I think there's a business in this. So about 4 years ago, I started that business, and I've been full-time for about 1.5 years. Yeah, that was me with Josh James too, by the way. But I'm excited to get into this. This is what I want to share with you today, is turning the powerful BI tool of Domo into a revenue generator. And you're probably sitting there, I don't know what businesses are in the room, or you're probably thinking like, I don't know, is this really a thing? Yeah, there is. The evidence of it is that you're here, right? Your companies or yourself out of pocket paid to come to this conference, hotels, your company pays for you, your company pays for Domo, which we all can be honest isn't cheap. And so there's a lot of money that you guys are investing in these solutions. And then the biggest thing is time. So there are opportunities for you to find other companies like you and save them a lot of time. You do scoping, design work, connect the dashboards, build ETLs. It would take a lot of your competition or a lot of people in the industries that you already are familiar with years to catch up. So there is an opportunity here. We can all agree on that. So I'm going to share with you a couple examples today of how my company personally, Bespoke, has made money off of monetizing Domo. And we're going to start from the eye rolling, probably the advanced users in here are gonna be like, all right, why is he even talking about this? All the way to hopefully some stuff that blows your mind of how like I'm thinking of monetizing Domo into the future. So a little crawl, walk, run, and fly like Superman. Okay, so step one, right? A lot of companies want to connect to APIs. They're pulling manual reports from Google Sheets, and they want to find a way to automate that. Well, Domo has tools already in platform that make that super simple. Two things. So write-back connectors are, I mean, literally within a couple minutes, you guys could identify a customer who needs data, use the API of Domo to pull that. And I think what sets Domo aside from all the other tools out there is that you can pull that data and transform it for these customers, ready for them to ingest in their systems. They might not want to deal with BI. They already have their spreadsheets. Meet them at their spreadsheets and get their money. And so write-back connectors are a great way to do that. We're going to show you a little bit of that. And then there's Domo publications. So I actually have a customer in this room that's a top Amazon seller who is a Domo client. And so obviously, like, they power up this Domo instance. They have a massive Amazon presence. It's the majority of their company. They want to get started. And they're looking at like, oh man, maybe in 6 to 8 months we'll have something. Well, we're going to show you in 30 minutes, if they're using the data that I'm familiar with and that I provide, I have a paying customer, and Domo takes care of that, manages that relationship, and keeps it synced. So let's head over to the demo. We can show you write-back connectors real quick for those that might not be familiar. I'm going to grab a drink of water.
With write-back connectors, the main thing here to keep in mind is a lot of clients, you can use the APIs that are all of the connector libraries to pull data in, run ETL, and then natively within Domo, this is just filtering by connector.
Got the microphone.
Oh, appreciate it. Right here, you can see that it's filtered down just to connector, and I've just typed in write-back, or the first part of write, because sometimes it's space. Sometimes it's not. But there's 76 that just show up there where you can pipe in data and give them in a spreadsheet just the data they need so they can transform and do whatever they need on their side. A very powerful part of Domo, and people will pay for just this piece.
Let's switch back to the presentation here. So the publications is a little bit nuanced. It does take some time, so I'm just going to show you an example here. So this is my instance. I found a new customer, Matt, that wants to pay me a lot of money. So I'm going to come here to Domo Everywhere, go to Publications, go to Subscribers, hit Add, and I'm going to type in his instance. I'm going to give him a key attribute, which for him, he's client ID 14 in my data. So this will keep it all nice and filtered and PDP kosher. Then I'm going to go back to Publications. I'm going to create the bundle of reports that I'm going to sync down to Matt's instance. So we're going to, I can see that he's created, he's there, no subscriptions yet. We'll go to Publications, add one, and give it a fun Domo test project name. Hit next. And this is like real time, except for the typing I sped up because like my type's super slow. Select his instance, select the app that we want to sync, which is our bespoke app, which is like ready to go for him. It's going to have all of the data on his Amazon business. Data sets are selected here, so he's ready to go there. And then these are the PDP policy IDs that I already have set up on these data sets that say, hey, filter the data to customer ID, what? Number 14, the key attribute. So this is going to like chomp and chew a little bit in the background, but it's going to have some action here on the recipient, Matt.
Yeah, so he just made the publication. You can see this is the bespoke instance, and now this is switching over to the clear square instance. So all I need to do is go in and say, oh yeah, I'm fine with that data being pushed down to my instance. And we can see there's 2 data sets, 1 app, 173 cards.
It's a big app.
Yeah, it took a while. And then you can see it's saying, yep, we've accepted it, and it's just loading it.
Perfect. So back to us. We can see now there's a subscription created for Matt, but we're not done yet. There's one more small step. Just come back to that publication. Select it from the list. Okay. And we can see everything's there. We go to our subscribers, and you can see here there's nothing synced yet. He has no apps, no cards out of 173. Big issue, but we just hit refresh. This starts that initial sync down to his instance. So this does take some time. This builds the app and the data exactly as it is in my instance, in his instance, for his team to consume and use. There's a lot of data. It's not instantaneous. So this is millions of rows that we push down, but it's 17 minutes later for this first sync. That app is fully built in his instance. And you can see it's there, successful, good to go. And this is basically the end of the road for me. I don't have to do anything else.
Yeah, and now I can go in, I can see, yep, I've got 2 data sets, one app, 173, so I can go over to apps, and we'll see it right there. And this is just so powerful. I mean, anything that you've built, if there's a client in the Domo area that needs, I mean, this is showing an app or a dashboard, but you can push data sets as well, and just strictly that and granting access. And it's federated data, so it's controlled on your end.
Yeah, and so it stays live synced, right? So it's federated. I don't have to push him every time he needs new data. Anytime that he queries that dashboard, it's live from my instance. All right, so the resell world. Someone from Domo would stop me. So we can sell turnkey sub-instances from within Domo as well. If you're on consumption, you have a really awesome sub-instance menu. So if you have data that customers need, but they also want to have a little bit of control, and they're like, I want to pull this, maybe I'll use Looker, and it's like, hey, why don't you just use Domo? Power them up a sub-instance, and they have all the options and all the documentation that already exists in Domo to teach themselves, train it, but they have the data there. You can start them off with that publication, so they get a dashboard out of the box. How nice would that be with your Domo instance when you signed up? There's another kind of, in the middle is a cheat code. If you end up with customers that have an app, but they need the data and they want an API, okay, what do I have to do? Go find an API, host it? No, spin up a sub-instance, put just the data they need down in that sub-instance, and then they can use the Domo API, create their own API credentials, and then grab all the data they need from their instance, and they're good, ready to go. They build their own custom apps, power it all off of Domo's database when they're querying data.
And there are a lot of big companies that are doing this. I mean, in the space, Filevine that we heard from, they're doing this. Guide CX, there's tons of huge companies that are already doing this. This is a capability that's available to you guys, but often you just don't know it's there.
And these are full instances of Domo with all that juicy horsepower. You pay big money for Domo, charge big money for Domo. I mean, let's talk about the money here. All right, demo. We're trying to make everybody in this room rich. Yeah. We don't want to work for these corporate overlords forever, right? Let's rise up. Okay. Come on, AI's coming. Josh said it. All right.
So for this one, we want to just really show how simple it is. You do need to be on consumption for this to work. But if you just go to more, you go to admin, you'll see in Domo Everywhere, there'll be an instance management tab. You can see here all these instances, and all of them are essentially their own complete Domo environment that is segregated from everything in your main instance. So let's show you what you do to make a new one. So right here, let's say I'm making one for
hands.
Oh, thanks. I'll just let you hold it. BI users. And then for the service account email, I'm actually just going to use my own. This is the person that can first log in and access everything. And so this is actually creating a Domo instance you can see right there on clearsquare-co-partner-biusers.domo.com. And so I'm also just going to do BI users. And then we're just going to click save. And it says it'll take a few moments. I mean, honestly, we'll see how good the Wi-Fi is. Yeah, see, it happens instantaneously, really. And now I can just go click on it. I can go click continue. And this is now an entire Domo instance that you can sell to your clients. It's that simple. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. There's big money in the room, high rollers. Okay. We're going to come back. Okay. Back to the slides for me, please. Okay, so we've done the crawl and walk, probably some eye rolls in here, and I saw some yawns in the back. Now we're getting to where, at least for my company, the big money has been, which is agencies and companies out there that want to build their own software that are looking at like massive proposals to do so. Well, Domo looks an awful lot like software to me. So, and I know how to build Domo really well, so let's monetize that. As you narrow down your niche and your offering and identify a market, you can then expand into high value, high investment options like white label, branded experiences. All these beautiful companies that want their own apps, they all look different, they're all themed, they follow their brand colors, they're all unique. Some like Pepto-Bismol pink, but that's their thing. But there's a lot of opportunities to monetize, and like kind of three sides of this coin for us. So number one is we're going to have an implementation fee. So they pay us up front to build this out. They're expecting that anyways. So they're starting from scratch. So we build it out over, for us, it's like a period of 2 months, which for any of them that don't know how easy Domo is, and they have no clue that Domo's even in the picture, let's be honest, they think I'm amazing. They're paying me a ton of money to build this out within 2 months on time and under budget. Then once it's built out, I'm streaming data down to their instance. So I get a monthly recurring revenue charge from them. For us, we charge per Amazon store that uses us. And then after that, they're addicted. They want to customize. And so every time they want to customize, they pay me a little bit of money, and we customize it. Now they have an app that's hosted. They don't have any engineering team. They don't have anybody to worry about. All they data there is streamed. And I'm way cheaper. We're talking money here, but I'm way cheaper than a dev team in-house. And I have way less personality problems, too. So, come on, I'm a good time. So you get to work with me. That's worth another 10 grand. So they see this as their software, right? Like when they come to this, and we'll switch over to the demo here so you guys can see it. When they come to the screen, yeah, perfect. Okay, so they come to a portal here, and this is why we do this in conjunction with ClearSquare. They get their own portal that's their business.
Yeah, so think about it as you can place things on your own URL. Everything's branded for the client.
This is their domain. It's not a .domo.com up there.
Yep. And then for my particular user, which is this admin account from ClearSquare, piping in its own unique fake dummy data, so then I can go through and I can use everything that shows up here. That way, this is a custom branded experience, and they see it as your product, something that you're selling.
Yeah. And so those same apps, like what you see here is below the fold is Domo App Studio. So all the Domo themes, everything that we built out custom, all the ease of use that I deal with is there down below the fold, and then it's just embedded in the custom portal. I know a lot of you guys probably embed within customer portals, but a little bit of engineering and a small business plan, and there's a lot of this stuff that you can make available externally. I know you probably showed other people you've gone to, like Shop Talk for e-commerce, and you go people are pulling up their metrics within Shopify, and you're like, get out of here. Boom, Domo, and they're like, and then you're like, all right, listen, let's talk money. So then once they have this, the great part is that it's not just this one app, right? There's still all the horsepower of Domo, all these services you can offer behind the scenes. So it's upsell, upsell, upsell. Let's hear it. Thank you. Okay, so Domo.AI, you better believe I'm charging for that. Custom ETLs connecting to their ERP and inventory systems, you better believe I'm charging for that. Workflows, custom apps, DDX bricks, but we make their own software. When we started this, and listen, they're all custom implementations. It takes some time to manage, but when we started this, it took a lot of hours, like hundreds of hours to build one of these apps. But because I picked a niche, Amazon, and there's 2.5 million Amazon sellers, and they all connect to the same API, and it's all the same data coming down, I have all this total addressable market, one unified data model that I use for everybody, and come on, they're all viewing the same metrics. They're like, I want to build something like no one else has. It's going to be bars, and it's going to be sales and traffic. And you're like, whoa, okay. Copy paste from the other guy that I built it for, retheme it, boom, done. So all these instances now, I say like, man, implementation and blah, 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 and it's like 10 hours, they're built, fully custom, use ClearSquare on their domain, and they're happy as a clam. So pretty awesome. I will talk about this all day with you, but if that impressed you, then we're gonna move on to kind of the future of this. I'm probably talking super fast. Yeah, it's like 20 minutes left, so you guys better think of questions. So the next part of this is the future of Domo. Here we go. All right, sorry. Fly past the competition, okay? So we've built, like the great part is that other companies are funding the research and development within my business of everything that I'm building, right? So all these companies are paying me to build the best Amazon software on the market. And so I have this massive battery across all these apps that I've created of reports, cards, charts, data models. It's all perfect. I've honed it down. Okay, but now it's like, all right, I got the high rollers that wanted to spend and build their own custom thing, but a lot of them just want an out of the box, cheap, affordable solution. And another problem that I noticed is that I have really bad adoption issues. So let's lean into Domo even more, okay? So you can lean hard into automation now. Use all the workflows, everything that you've built to collect their credentials, run Domo workflows that can create connectors, create data sets, run ETLs, create users, and then stand back and let the money print. And so what is this out of the box? I mean, listen, it hasn't launched yet, but that's 2 months later, money print, okay? What does this look like out of the box for Bespoke? So this is our 80/20 app. Sorry, I'm skipping notes here, guys. I'm so excited to show you this. So yeah, you have all these cards. So it's boiling down all that, taking out all the 20% of crap that people want, but finding that 80% of everything that you've built that applies to everybody that sells on Amazon. And a lot of them are all looking, like we said, at the same numbers. So we boil down all that work and create an out-of-the-box solution, and then lean into Domo to handle all the scale and automation. We found out all the connectors they need, standardize it, and then have Code Engine do all the heavy lifting. And then use all Domo's low-code and no-code solutions, which saves me having to hire a massive engineering team. All right, next slide. I don't know, this isn't cooperating with me right now. Next slide. There you go. All right, cool. Okay, so I'll give you an example. This is Bespoke Sidekicks. This is what we're launching next. It's a Chrome extension. So my biggest issue before was adoption, right? So I'd build all these beautiful apps, and at the end of the day, they're like, are my clients using it? And it's like, well, some are, but some aren't. They're logging in once a week or whatever, and they're like, well, I kind of want them to be addicted to this. And I'm like, I kind of get your point. So how about I force them to adopt it? So we made a Chrome extension called Bespoke Sidekick. And this puts the insights right in front of their face. And what's great about it is it leverages Domo. And I'll give you an example of why I'm such a proponent of using Domo for this. So a month ago, Amazon dropped a brand new API, and it was making headlines all across the Amazon space. You might know about it if you're in this space, but it's a report that everybody loves. They finally opened up for the API 2 years later after they had dropped it. After that API dropped, me and my business partner worked our little butts off and got data pulled, and I built an app for it and had it launched. And I was the first one, and I'm going up against businesses that have been in the space for 10 years, hundreds of millions of dollars, teams of hundreds of engineers. And I'm the first one to launch an app on LinkedIn to say, hey, you wanted this App Studio API? I got it. Domo is what made that possible. Yeah. And then what's cool is I'm embedding Domo with this Chrome extension, so I didn't even have to go to my developer and have him run an update on the Chrome extension. The Chrome extension is streaming the data from Domo, so I made changes in App Studio, and we're live. I mean, going up against these companies, come on, David and Goliath here. Domo allows for such beautiful interfaces to be built. If you could scroll the notes a little bit, just so I don't get too lost on these folks. Domo allows you to build interfaces and deploy so much faster. And App Studio, I'm so excited about app components. I mean, it looks like SaaS kind of now, but it's going to really be an interactive tool. So I'm of course, I'm talking to the product managers. They're like, come on, give me beta. Okay. So I'm going to show you Sidekick and what it looks like, because I think it has some really cool party tricks, and I'm so excited about this. You guys know, going to Domo and everything, it sometimes takes time. This kills all that. It's awesome.
Yeah, so you can tell how hyped James is about this, but this is an amazing product. Because think about an Amazon storefront seller. What UI are they just so familiar with? They know their products. They're looking at the descriptions. They pay attention to these pages so much. So what James has done is he has built a Chrome extension so they can stay on that exact page and they can track all of their metrics right there.
There's just mobile App Studio right here, mobile version just compressed.
You're all extremely familiar with everything that's in there. And then better yet, if they're scrolling down on the actual page.
Hit a refresh.
Yeah, let's do that.
I told him to hit a refresh before it.
I didn't. You can see that loading right into the Amazon page itself is the entire app to reflect this particular product on the Amazon page. So now they can track all their sales, all their traffic, everything that they need right underneath the product themselves. They don't need to go to an external, branded site that James has. It's right there where they're expecting the product to be.
Yeah, the extension's grabbing the Amazon product ID from the URL and on the fly filtering based on the client that's logged in, the page that it's on. I mean, first it double checks to see if it's even their product before it loads it, but then once it's there, it just shows it here on the page. And like where this really hits home is your non-technical users, the ones cutting the checks, the executives that are not gonna go dig into the reporting. Now I have something where they wanna see how their Amazon business is doing. They don't have to write an email, send a note, whatever. They go straight to Amazon, which they're probably gonna go look at anyways. They have their product page, which they'll wanna see, plus everything here. So advertising, inventory, all their ad spend, specific to this one product.
Yeah, another.
That's right. Come on. Anyone impressed? Okay. So, I guess we can go back to the slide. Sorry. It's really limitless, right, guys? I sat in chairs like this and saw people kind of doing things around this and sharing data outside and external partners. And it was just an idea that kept flipping over my head man, there is a business here. And I think really in any of your industries, there is potential for there to be a use case. If you're a marketing company and you're managing ads or something for clients, those clients will pay extra just for the opportunity of viewing these analytics, or it's a value add, or you give them a basic package as a value add and sell a value add and sell them an advanced package. If you're a retail company and you work with wholesalers, manufacturers, co-manufacturers, vendors, a lot of those companies will pay to have access to your data. So I'm sorry, the corporate overlords, I'm giving you some bones here. These are good ways that your business can monetize. If you're a logistics company handling packages and shipments, you can share that data out or give it to your clients or if you're handling it for the 3PL. And then I don't know all the implications of this, so this is not legal advice, but if you deal with a lot of data, there are third parties out there. You guys, if you've bought third-party data, you know there's money in it, but there are probably agencies and third-party data partners out there that would want your data just because so many people need data that's anonymized and cleaned. With all the PDP tools and column masking that we have now in Domo, it makes it super easy to do that. So this is really just the tip of the iceberg.
All right, so right there, that's a QR code that will go over a lot of the links and demos that we showed. So if you want to go, yeah, that's what I want to see. We want to see the phones going up.
We put the slides on here too, so don't worry about having to have written stuff down. There's a link tree. We're going to throw the video up here when it's available. So just snap a picture of it, add us on LinkedIn, and then have all the Domo knowledge base articles that are linked for every step of what we shared today and all the technology that we use.
All right, and if you thought this was an amazing presentation by James, please give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Here, how's this? All right, keep going.
Yeah, let's open up the floor to just some Q&A. We want to hear what you guys have. Yeah.
Yeah, if we can wait for the mic real quick. They told us we'll get in trouble if we let you talk.
I was just wondering, do you keep a user in your sub instances to log in and basically offer account management as a service as well?
So your sub instances are all managed through your main instance. So I guess by default, technically a service account is created, but you just go to your sub instance screen where he had that whole list, and you can just navigate into all of them like that without ever having to worry about credentials or anything. So that is one caveat to let people understand is you will have some visibility to your data. In these sub instances case, they're typically getting the data from you already. So there's usually not too much of a concern with that.
Just if they ever need any tips or anything like that.
Yeah, if people are paying for a Domo instance, I want them to be successful, and I love talking about Domo anyways. So if they're paying that money, I will meet with them, make sure that they're successful in building apps and things like that. Get them addicted to the platform for sure. Just trying to make Domo addicts out of everybody. Guys, make the world a better place.
How do you manage maintenance, or like when connectors fail, or like things go wrong inevitably? Like, how do you manage that for dozens or more clients?
Yeah, I mean that is the problem, right? Is that you are marrying yourself to Domo, and you're as good as they are. But Domo, I think you guys know, has pretty good uptime. You guys have dealt with apps that go down and have issues. Our data model is complex. I pull 47 different 47 different reports for every Amazon seller on our instance, and we boil that all down into a unified model externally from Domo, just because there's a better system for it, and then pipe it into Domo and use it. So I usually don't have connector issues. The only times we really have issues is just like if there's a bit of a Domo outage, which is very rare.
One more question.
Yeah.
When you need to offboard a potential client, is it as easy as just like deleting that sub instance?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Delete the sub instance, kill the connector if you're doing the data sharing. Within ClearSquare, deactivate the portal. We use them for our portal. And then in our instance, we have our backend management that does Stripe billing and everything, manages their subscription. Yeah. This is a plant. I asked him to give me a softball.
A couple of questions, James. The first one is, do you have this much energy in your day-to-day life?
I can answer that
Sorry,
too. Yeah.
my wife's back there. Whitney, do I have? She's back there with the baby. She dragged me along. I was like, don't bring the kids.
The second one is like, how do you actually, so like when you're going to sell to an Amazon seller, like what's your actual pitch? Like how do you like convince or like how do you like show to them that they need like to have like, do they already think they need a dashboard, or like what's your sales pitch look like?
Yeah, there's a lot of really large agencies in the Amazon space that have invested a lot of money into software, so there is kind of that desire to keep up. There's a story I totally skipped past in the beginning of the slides, like literally so excited to be here. So our first client had invested millions of dollars into building their own solution in-house, and they had a team of like 14 devs. Their AWS bill was off the charts. So in that instance, you think, oh, they already have the problem solved, but no, they didn't. They were still like really slow, still didn't see the full potential of their platform 2 years later. Like I said, all the investment and everything, and they're making the decision of, is there really a return here? And so even companies that look like they have the solution might be struggling with the, like, we just can't move fast enough. You know, like I said, I could launch them in 36 hours. Other companies, like we're a month later, they still don't have anything yet. So that speed of editing within App Studio and be able to get that out, we were able to replicate their system, save them a ton of money, and still sign like a multi-six-figure contract with them, literally just for these tools, and built out what they had. Now they had a lot of really custom ETLs and stuff, so that's why the level was so high. We've really reined things back in. But you know, when you're starting out, you make those dumb decisions of getting in with really complicated, fun clients. But we made them happy. We launched it in like 3 months, and then they're still a client today. We're still working with them. So hopefully they don't watch this session.
You never know. When you're pulling in extra data for a specific client, is that going into your main instance, or is that specifically in their sub instance that it exists?
It's going to depend. Like the sub instances for us are definitely the smaller portion of the business. Most of our customizations are happening either in our main Domo instance, or we're handling the modeling externally and then pulling in. We love to use Cloud Amplifier, pulling in through Cloud Amplifier. So I think as long as you stay on top of it and manage it and tag those different like customizations that you're doing, I love to use views. So I love to, I mean, my goal is to customize my main model and touch that as little as possible. And then if there are customizations to bring like wildcard fields in to my instance, that for each client, I know that in their implementation of it, I can name them different things. But in the model, I'm not taking like columns up for all this random stuff that's only on a couple of my client IDs, that there's like an attribute 1, attribute 2, category 1, category 2. And they're like, well, I want, you know, this and this. I'll be like, okay, yeah, give it to us, but I load it in attribute 1, attribute 2. So I like have my custom fields set up, and then just have those mapped and as a part of my model. Or if it's something else, I'll use a view in and just stack it on top of my model and get it to work. I have my main columns in the model that are the same across everything. So that allows me to copy cards between all the different apps that I've built, and they work pretty much every time. So I like keep really strong naming conventions within my columns. Oh man, okay.
Right here, just to go right
Golly.
here. So, okay. I know that you, yeah, get him, quick, 7 times 18. Okay, cool.
Oh.
Okay. Real quick, so you have mainly a template that you use for Amazon, but do you have the little sub-templates used for different industries that might be selling different types of B2C products or even B2B products on Amazon?
Not yet, just because I still feel like that Amazon market, I barely even scratched the surface. Like we're just making a name for ourselves, but like eventually, yeah. I mean, I built my career in e-commerce. So there's Walmart Marketplace, there's TikTok shops now, there's Shopify. The Shopify analytics apps suck. They need a Domo app. So that's my next frontier. And then I'm going on to the big dogs like NetSuite and SAP and embedded analytics all over their garbage. Big money, right?
How are you managing the refresh rates for your different clients and the credit consumption? And is that a concern for your clients?
Yeah, the credit consumption I have to monitor. Like I really, if we're doing a sub instance, I will typically just go ahead and hide the data center and everything from the get-go, just so it's not just let them get used to Domo first, which probably internally is a good tip for you guys, is just to you don't need to worry about the data center. Just learn to build cards, learn to build dashboards, and then if they start talking about bringing in external data, then we have that conversation about credits and how much it'll cost them, and then I let them know that that'll be usage-based if it's a sub-instance. For my main instance scaling up, I'm really leaning heavy into Cloud Amplifier. And then also I have the benefit, at least with our system, that a lot of our Amazon reports are only refreshed daily, a lot of them weekly. So as long as that last day's data is there in the morning, 99% of my clients are happy. If they want that high refresh, what's the word? Upsell. Is that it? Oh, okay.
How do you manage, you mentioned that you were monitoring your customers' usage. Were you looking at activity log for that, or how were you seeing they were actually monitoring the embedded dashboards at all?
Yeah, so if obviously if you're using a subscriber instance within Domo, there's all the Domo stats and user activity that's there. If you're doing a lot of embedding in external portals, you would just have that external portal. Anytime that that page is loading, you would grab whatever the user's logged in, what they're viewing and everything. So you would, if you're doing it within a portal, you want to make sure you're having activity logs. I can't remember which tool that Domo uses out of the box, but Domo also has kind of some heat mapping things that it integrates with that you can use with Domo Everywhere to even track as they're browsing the app or the dashboard what they're interacting with. So you can get a lot of really robust app analytics. It starts with an F. I can't remember what tool they use. Full story. Thank you. I planted him to say that. I told him. I was like, I'm going to struggle. Then you tell me what it is. Anyone? Okay. Is that it? Oh, you do have one? Was that? No, okay. All right, just hand the mic to somebody. Let's make them talk.
Oh, in the back.
Okay.
In regards to when you get a new client, has anyone ever asked for a single sign-on, and have you had any problems implementing that with your method?
Yes. It says to date, when they have asked, I haven't been ready for it, and I just said we don't do that, and I got them anyways. But
technically,
Yeah.
in his environment, he actually can. So
Yeah.
he can put as many URLs as he'd like, so a client can have a direct SSO login. And so
come talk to ClearSquare at the sponsor partner. They make my job so I use them, and all this stuff is very simple from my side. I don't have to manage any of it. Makes it really, really, really awesome.
all right.
That's it, guys.
That's it.
Dude,
Now
thank
go
you.
out and implement.
Yeah.